So there's been some silly season news. We got to hurry because we got round table. Silly season news. Out of left field, Spire buys another charter. Did they not sell a charter? I thought Spire sold a charter. So why would they buy a charter for $40 million?
So the rumor of charters being for sale and ended up being shut down was Stuart Haas and Spire. Both teams shut down those rumors, saying that there's no charter being sold or whatever. And so now Spire buys the Live Fast Motorsports charter. So if Live Fast Motorsports competes next year, regardless if it's part-time or full-time, they will be an open car, which is a little upsetting for BJ McLeod and Matt Tiff, who they put in a lot of time and effort to make this happen. But unfortunately, with those guys, there's not a lot of. I don't feel like there's a lot of big resources for them. And in an industry where if you don't have the big bucks or big bucks of any kind, eventually it's going to come back and get you, and this is one of those times. But this paid off. But I feel like with Spire getting this charter, it paid off big time for Trackhouse, because Trackhouse now signs Zane Smith, but Zane Smith will be loaned over to Spire and racing this third charter car.
Another situation where the money comes to bite somebody in the butt.
But we knew Zane Smith was in the talks of getting a cup ride, though. We thought it was on the Ford side of things, because obviously with him in front row the last couple of years. So we all believed he was going to stay with Ford. And apparently Zane Smith, in one of his press conference interviews, he said that almost 365 days ago, he was talking to somebody of where he wanted to go if he landed in Cup again, and he wanted to land in Trackhouse. And almost 365 days later, he signed a deal with Trackhouse. So he had a vision.
Okay. Here's what I don't understand. It was in 2021, Spire sold 2 charters and only kept 1. The price for charters in 2021 were nowhere near what they are worth now. Why did Spire sell charters then only to turn around and pay $40 million for its third charter? It bought a charter after selling 2 of its 3 charters that it had. It bought a charter from Rick Ware Racing in 2021, and then they turn around and buy a charter again for $40 million from Live Fast Racing. Is anybody not kind of seeing here where does Spire come up with this money to wheel and deal charters? I've not seen anywhere else where they can just buy and sell charters like they're like it's monopoly money. What's going on with Spire Racing? And then I thought that Trackhouse Racing was going to field the cars for Zane Smith, but after listening to Dirty Door Bumper Clear, Zane Smith's going to be a driver for Spire Motorsports with Carson Hocevar and Corey LaJoie.
I think what we're looking at here, and I think we're missing a piece here. I believe Trackhouse and Spire had this collaboration going because
if that's what you call it.
Because I'm trying to think of the words here. I think Trackhouse probably wanted another charter car, but I think at the moment they probably, and it's weird to say this, I think they didn't want to put all their money on it because not only did they sign Zane Smith, they also signed Shane Van Gisbergen, but SVG is on a more developmental deal. So the only Cup starts we'll see him in will be with the Project 91 car. And then in terms of Xfinity and trucks, it'll be wherever he lands. I'm not sure where he'll fall in the Xfinity side of things, maybe colleague. I don't know. But I'm thinking with the truck side, because of Ross Chastain with Trackhouse, I could see the Nice Motorsports side of things. But I'm thinking there's like a three-way alliance here because I believe Spire has some sort of alliance with Hendrick, I believe. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Trackhouse might be on that same ship too. And I feel like Spire and Trackhouse kind of like paired up to make something work where Spire, maybe with this deal of Spire getting Zane Smith as a loan instead of Spire really signing Zane Smith as a driver of theirs, I feel like Spire maybe had a little bit more money to play with in terms of Trackhouse.
I don't know, man. It just seems mighty fishy of one organization that's able to buy and sell charters. Why would you sell your charters in the first place to turn around and buy them when they're going to be more expensive? That just, to me, doesn't make sense. And Spire is supposed to be a driver agency, right? They're supposed to be like an agent for drivers, similar to Kevin Harvick Incorporated. It just seems like we're going to find out later on there was some kind of money manipulation here. It's like Justin Marks may own Trackhouse, but then there's some, there's some shifty things that go on between Colleague Racing, Spire Motorsports, and Trackhouse Racing. I'm sorry. I will call it right here. We've been calling conspiracies all night. There's something that transpires between those three organizations that's just real fishy. And, I haven't been able to put my finger on it. But, this Chris Rice guy, he comes up a lot. He's kind of a weird guy. But, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just have a feeling later on down the road, in a year or two, maybe 3 years, the NASCAR scandals is going to have a huge one on the manipulation. Because the one thing that you're doing is you're driving the cost of these. See, Spire Motorsports is single-handedly driving the cost of these charters out the window. When you have an organization that has had possession of 5 charters, and they have sold each of these charters for more than what they paid for them, but then having to pay more for the next charter, which is driving the market value up. Most of the time we find out that there's some kind of Ponzi scheme going on there.
Exactly. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back, and we'll both come out better for it.
Money laundering or something, right? They're taking something straight out of Felix Sabatis' book. The only way to make a million in racing is to show up with 10 million, right?
Exactly. Yeah, there's something. It'll come out eventually.